Right, okay. I think we're early. Well, we are early, and I think we're live. So, yeah, okay. So, welcome everybody. I'm Abby Broad, and I'm here to interview the wonderful Christine Hammacott, one of my amazing Mind Your Own Business VIP club members. Christine is a how would you describe yourself? What would you give yourself as a job title, Christine?
Brand designer and marketing strategist.
There we go. Brand designer and marketing strategist. And your business is the art of communication. So yes, let's dive straight in, Christine. So tell us a little bit about what you do, and a bit about your background as well.
Okay. I do anything from brand audits for companies that have already been working for them, going for a few years, and also for new startups. The idea is that we dig deep and we find out exactly what the business is all about, what exactly is they're selling, and then we put together a brand strategy for how that looks to potential clients, to staff, to existing clients and stuff like that. And then work on marketing materials so that it gets the key messaging across as to who they are, what their ethos is, and what they can do for their clients.
Yeah, so branding is a big thing, isn't it? It's something that I've done, quite recently. It's always a work in progress as well, isn't it? Your brand really does need to speak to your clients. So there's a lot of science behind it. Yeah, so it's more than just a logo, isn't it?
Very much more than just a logo. Yeah, I mean, it's all about tapping into who the right people are and getting those messages out there effectively and clearly, and getting a response.
Absolutely. And so would you say a brand needs to work for you? Does the brand have a job to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a brand is the brand should be at the heart of everything that you do. It's things like the language that you use and the approach that you take with every client, and that. And if you haven't got a clear take on what your brand is, your messages become very muddled. So, for example, if you're selling widgets, for example, a widget could be anything, but just say it's widgets. Who are you actually selling them to? Are you selling them to the guy who's using the widgets? Are you supplying them to the MD who's who wants to know that they're going to be of a certain type? Are you selling to the account manager or the finance people who just want to know that it's maybe the cheapest? So who it is that you're selling to will determine what message you need to get across and how you sell your particular product or service.
Yeah, so absolutely. So it's reaching out to those people and getting them to hear it in the way that it needs to be heard, isn't it? So you work a lot with excuse me, I've been recording videos all day, so my voice is going. So you do a lot of work with SMEs, so small to middle-size businesses, as well as yes, you've done work for me, haven't you? You've done work for lots of ladies in the tribe and in the mindset group as well. So can you give us some examples of some of the things that you actually do? What is it? What does a brand actually mean? What can someone expect for you to create for them?
Well, once we actually know who we're targeting, and or that's perhaps not the right word. Well, it's a key word, but it doesn't sound very nice, does it? Who you're targeting, but who you've got in your sights as your ideal customer. It could be a case of that we are creating. It could be a logo, and it could be the visual brand that goes with that. So it could be things like social media posts. A toolbox that can be adapted for using for different messages, and it's about establishing that brand by creating a set of guidelines so that going forward everything that is put out there is consistent. I mean, that's one of the worst things that one of the worst mistakes that a lot of businesses make is that they don't keep consistent with their approach, whether it's messaging or whether it's their visual look of things. So, you know, if things are supposed to go out in something like Arial typeface, then, you know, and you get the Office Junior or the VA or somebody sending out stuff in Times, that, although that may seem like a silly little thing, it can actually have a real watering down effect of the overall brand over time. So it's important to get things like that right. So I work with small and medium businesses and startups to basically lay down the foundations of what they do. So going forward.
So for a startup, for example, so knowing who their clients are, so we need to, you know, we talk about knowing who our niches and our ideal paying clients and that kind of stuff. We talk about that a lot. So how important is it to know who your ideal clients are before you start with your branding?
It's crucial. It's crucial. I mean, you wouldn't say the same thing or use the same language even to a 17-year-old as a 70-year-old. And it's that kind of approach that we're talking about when it comes to getting your brand messaging out there. It's finding the right way of approaching the right clients through visuals and through mediums that you then go on to use to attract those people.
Yeah, so the service that you provide is, you know, it kind of encompasses all of, so it's the practical thing. So you create websites, you do social media, you do visuals, you give people advice, all that kind of stuff. You know, you create beautiful things, like my book, for example. So, you know, so it's not just branding, you do, you know, you do a lot of stuff with books as well. So yeah, for people when they're just starting out, what is it that you can do for them? So you talked about brand audit. What does that involve? How does that help?
A brand audit's more for somebody that's been going a little while. So it could be someone that's maybe been going a couple of years and realised that what they've got isn't going to take them to their next level,
Right.
which is quite typical. A lot of companies kind of start, or a lot of entrepreneurs start up. They produce something that's kind of very how to be polite, you know, that's not really necessarily as professional as it could be, because it's not on point with who they are and what their ethos is. So I mean, you know, the typical thing is, oh yeah, my nephews are doing graphics at sixth form or something like that. Yes, but your nephew may not understand the principles of where we're coming from. He might be able to knock up a logo, but it's not necessarily quite right. So what I do is more about getting a client to understand exactly what it is they have and how they get it out there. And that could save a huge amount of time going forward, and a lot of mistakes as well. So you generally find that people that do branding in the first instance, rather than, you know, sort of in the first couple of years of starting up, rather than leaving it, tend to get a lot further quicker, because they've gone through a lot of these exercises and have a better understanding of exactly what it is that they're offering, and therefore can promote it accordingly. So it's very much a learning curve for the client.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so what do you wish, so as from your perspective as a business owner, so how long have you been in business now, Christine?
I started in 2008.
2008, yes, a long time before me. Yeah, so and you are a graduate of the Southampton Institute, with an OND and HND in Higher National Diploma in Graphic Design. Yeah, okay, so you've been in business a while, quite a while. Yeah, a lot of expertise. What do you wish you'd known at the start of your journey?
That's a difficult one. I wish I'd known that design was going to be devalued as much as it has. I mean, when I first started out, I went to art college early because my portfolio and everything was up and ready to go at 16. I didn't need to wait till I was 18. I got in early. I went and did 4 years, and then I worked in agencies across the UK. I worked in publishing, which is where I started off, and then I worked for advertising design agencies, working for blue chip clients, people like Asda, Marks and Spencers, and stuff like that. I think, as much as what would I like to have learned, it's difficult to say, because I've worked with some very good marketing people, which is why a lot of the marketing strategy stuff has rubbed off. And a lot of designers don't do that, because they're just within a studio, and they do their bit sometimes. But I had that opportunity, which was great, and I learned an awful lot from it. As far as starting up in business, though, I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, I don't really know what I would do again, what I would do differently.
So you've been working for yourself for quite a number of years now, and so you and I started working together several months ago now. It's probably about six or 7 months, I think, isn't it? Might even be longer than that. Yeah,
really.
Yeah. So you had a business. You were successful. You were making money. You had clients. People were coming to you. What made you invest in mindset coaching when you did?
Because I realized that I started doing a little bit of business coaching beforehand, and I realized that actually it wasn't the business side that I needed to learn and that I needed to change, because I knew most of that anyway. But it was the mindset that wasn't quite right. And there'd been a few things of recent years where I'd had to sort of sidestep because of family issues, and my confidence had dropped. So that was the original reason that I sort of felt that coaching was probably a good way forward to try and get my confidence up and things. But actually, what I've realized during the process is that actually it wasn't so much my confidence, it was the fact that I'd just become overwhelmed with everything that I was doing, and I just needed to find better processes that would clear me to be able to have the confidence to do the stuff that I wanted to do and approach the people I wanted to approach. So yeah, that side of it definitely needed some work.
Yeah, so working on, so it's that harmony, isn't it? So it's finding that balance. So many of us mums, wives, we've got other responsibilities, other family members, all this stuff going on, and even if we don't have those things, we often we get to a point where we start to think, hang on a minute, I'm missing out here. So you and I share a core driver for powering through, don't we? And so we like to get it done. So where have you seen, Christine, the biggest difference at home but also at work since engaging with mindset coaching?
It's difficult to pinpoint anything, actually, because I think it's affected just about everything, even from the point of view of helping my other half when he was in the process of changing job, not through choice, to be able to sort of turn around and support him and help him and get him to question things. But as far as my own stuff is concerned, it's about much like I help clients pinpoint exactly what they're doing. The mindset coaching is about pinpointing where the issues are that are causing me blocks and things, and then tackling them, so that you calm the chaos, you overcome the obstacles, you push yourself out when you really don't feel you want to be visible and stuff. You're quite happy looking at a screen rather than being on the screen, and yeah, all those sorts of elements, all those slightly icky, and also things like charging more, having the confidence to actually turn around and say, actually, do you know what I do, brings an awful lot of value to clients. So therefore, you know, it should be recompensed. So
yeah, I mean, pricing is probably the place. Pricing and visibility are, I would offer, the places where we struggle the most to sort of push forward and see our value when we're consumed with struggles with all the other stuff. So struggles around time and and energy and that kind of stuff, isn't it? So it kind of, so having that process, so as you say with your clients, it's about talking it round, coming at it from a different angle. Well, let's look at that a little bit differently. What does that really mean? You know, just having somebody there to be able to to sort of kind of ask the right questions and get you to sort of be curious about things. Exactly how branding works, isn't it? You know, I was asked, I did my branding, you know, several years ago, and I was asked questions, you know, like, so Abby, who is it that you actually want to work with? And I was like, oh well, you know, anyone. And they were like, no, you can't just work with it. Yeah, so it's like, so what does this mean? You know, why do you do what you do? It's all about understanding people's passion, isn't it, and bringing that into their brand. You know, it's that's the latest thing, isn't it? We all talk about our USP. So, you know, that process of being curious and yes, and bringing that out and actually you know, bring it into people's consciousness. So so mindset coaching is it rubs off, doesn't it? So the whole point is we learn it, don't we? You know, it's a process that once we start to think differently and retrain our mind, we then start doing it on other people, don't we? So it can help. I mean, one of the biggest places I saw a difference when I first started to coach was with my children, you know, just kind of tackling things a little bit differently, because what that does is it actually helps us, doesn't it? We feel better when we can help other people to feel better. So I'm very glad that you're using those skills. Okay, so top tips, Christine. So think about, so probably a lot of the ladies and gents in this group will be one-man bands, let's say, and some will be starting out, some will have been in business for a while. What are your couple of sort of top tips for somebody who's looking to either create a brand or maybe revamp one they've got?
Number one, get clear on who it is you're targeting. Get clear on your audience. You know, you may like pink, it may not be appropriate for your audience. You know, and you need to come at it from their perspective. A lot of the time, you know, you hear sort of people sort of saying about, you know, oh well, you know, my favorite color is purple or pink or whatever it is, and they become a bit blinkered. But you've actually got to look at it from your potential client's point of view. What is it that they understand? Because we all have visual sort of and psychological shortcuts for things. So, you know, if you can tap into those shortcuts, you can kind of get to the psyche of your target audience a lot quicker. And I was going to say something else, and my brain's just completely gone. The other tip I would say is, as I said before, you know, once you've got a brand sort of laid out in front of you, consistency is the key. You know, don't go off brand, especially not in the first couple of years. Keep it well on brand. Yes, you're likely to change your key messaging depending on who you're specifically talking to, but the actual brand itself wants to be consistent as much as you possibly can, and that creates a strong brand.
And this is why we need somebody else, don't we, to challenge that? Because that was another thing that was said to me: Abby, your brand isn't for you, it's for your clients.
Yeah.
It's not, doesn't matter what you like, to a point, you know. Obviously we want that stuff we're comfortable with, but it's almost like getting someone else to write your CV for you, isn't it? We need someone. Again, it's why we have coaching, isn't it? So we can all work this stuff out for ourselves, but are we going to make the best decision, or do we need to be challenged? So that process of being able to ask the right questions You know, who are you targeting? Why are you targeting them? What do you want them to think when they see your brand? You know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we need somebody else to do that, don't we? So one of the other things I wanted to just touch on quickly. So not only do you do branding and marketing for people, talk a little bit about your passion. So the books. So you helped me with my book, didn't you? So let's talk a little bit about that. So for anyone out there with a book inside of them wanting to get it out, so I had a book, and then I didn't know how to make it into a book, did I? So so you've written books as well. So those services as well. What else? What do you offer when it comes to publishing and writing?
Okay. I started off in publishing, and the reason I started in publishing was because I wanted to improve my typographic skills. So using type to really kind of create something graphic. So I thing is with that is it feeds into the logos as well, you see, because it's all about typography and how it works as an item that tells a story. And with a book cover, it's the same as a logo in a sense, in that, you know, it's typographic. It has to impart a certain amount of information in a very short space of time, which is why it sits so comfortably with the branding side of it. I stumbled into it because I do creative writing as a hobby, and I was part of a writing group, and a couple of them sort of turned around and said, look, we're sick of the way the industry's going. You know, it would be great if we can actually self-publish these ourselves, because otherwise we're just waiting on agents for the next 10 years. And the opportunities are diminishing fast for going down the traditional route. So that's how I kind of got into it. But I now, as a result, ended up being asked so many times to do book covers, as it's sort of like the words got out. So I now offer it as a service, and I will help self-publishing authors to self-publish, whether that's through Amazon as an ebook, or as a paperback, or as a hardback through somebody like Ingram Sparks, or whether they want to self-publish and get it printed independently. It's whatever route to market they want to go down, depending on what the end results are that they want to achieve. So, and I love book design as much as I love branding.
It's joyful, isn't it? So our very own V Portland received her first proof copy today, didn't she? So she was blubbering on her live in another group. I was crying because I know exactly how that felt. I cried the moment I picked up my book. So so it's a lovely thing, isn't it? It's that creative process. So keeping, you know, we've talked about this, you know, keeping your core values topped up. So when there's a real joy for what you do in your business, when you can see somebody, because when someone gets their brand right, we know it, don't we? We can feel it, the confidence that comes by saying, I can compete now. I see that so often, you know, men and women that I've dealt with, where they've just suddenly, you could see the shoulders come up, and it just gives them a level of confidence that is you just don't see beforehand. It's quite incredible to watch. I had one particular client who just wanted a business card initially, and when we got talking and everything, I sort of said to her, I'm not trying to upsell you here, but it's clear that you come from a corporate background and you need something to basically hang your business on. And we ended up doing a branding exercise as a result. And she you can see the posture and everything just changed. Quite incredible. And this is the thing, isn't it? So Amazon told me I could self-publish my book. So I had this idea that I was going to write it, you know, Jennifer was going to edit it. That's fine. Okay. And then I was going to sit there and upload it onto Amazon, and Amazon was just going to make it into a book. Yeah. So it's not quite as easy as that, is it? Branding's the same. We can all build our own website now. We can all do our own logos, Canva, all these things. Yeah, so it's time consuming, isn't it? And if your business is as a hands-on therapist, or me, like a coach, I mean, I like creativity, but coaching makes me money. Sitting there drawing, making little creations doesn't make me money. Yeah, so how much time and effort do you save people? Yes, people can do this stuff for themselves, but really, what's the biggest advantage of having someone like you be a part of that process?
Well, it is partly the time, but it's not just the physical time it would take to do it, because, at the end of the day, you could sit down and work for 20 hours on your website and get it right and everything. But the reality is, it's not going to take 20 hours. It's going to take 20 hours over 18 months because you're busy doing other things. The other aspect of it is that, I'm an outsider looking in. So, I take the view of a potential client. So I'm looking at what you're selling, whether it's product or service, from a potential client's point of view rather than a seller's point of view. So, if generally most businesses will turn around and start talking about the benefits of using them, the features of using them, sorry, of what they offer. And you see it on so many websites, so that, it says, oh, we do this, we do this, we do this. But it doesn't say necessarily about the benefits of what that is to the client. So by using somebody like a designer, I will be looking at it and saying, yeah, what's in it for me? Why should I use your services? And I've actually done that with clients that I've been struggling to get information out of, because they're kind of a little bit unsure of themselves, or whatever the reason, and I've literally just sat there with my arms folded and said, okay, sell it to me then, and being quite bolshy about it, because it's the only way when they're on the defensive to get the information out, and then you really dig deep as to exactly, because they start thinking about it in a different way, and it's an interesting process to sort of to be part of.
Yeah, and bolshy in the nicest possible way. A bit like me. People say, "Oh, come on, Abby, I need you to kick my bum today," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not actually going to do that, but yeah, in the nicest possible way." Yeah, okay. So yeah, challenge, isn't it? And this is the thing: we can't always do it for ourselves.
No.
So having someone like you to ask the difficult questions sometimes. Okay, what's this really about? Oh, it's going to save them so much time and effort, isn't it? And money in the long term, because we can invest in all these different things, and if we get it wrong, it can be devastating, can't it? So Christine, what's next for you? So you've just signed a new book to do. I know that's one of your big projects that's coming up. Who would you like to work with? What are you looking for at the moment? Who would be your ideal clients?
Some more branding work. Yeah, I want a lot more branding work coming in. A few more projects over the summer would be nice to work on, because that just fills me with joy doing that. And just knowing that you've made, part of that is because it's that wanting to help people to push their businesses forward, and that. So, that does bring me joy, to be able to sort of see them go off with a smile and a wave, and kind of like, knowing that they're on track for whatever they need to be doing. So yeah, that would be what I'd like more of over the summer.
Lovely. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? So your website at the moment is currently under a revamp, isn't it?
Some of it is.
Yeah, so this is the thing, isn't it? It's finding the time exactly to do our own stuff, isn't it? That's the challenge. So how can people get hold of you? How would you like them to contact you if they're interested, or if they want to book a consultation or chat to you about branding? How can they get in contact with you?
They can still get in contact with me via the website.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just one particular element of it that I'm just sort of working on, but I'm working on it on a staging site anyway, so the website's still intact. Yeah, if they could contact me via Messenger, or give me a call.
Perfect. Okay. And so you're obviously here in the group as well. Yeah, so if anybody does have any questions or wants to book in and have a chat with Christine, then we'll drop the link to your website in the comments as well. If anyone's got any questions after the live, if you've watched on replay, then please do let us know as well. And if you have any questions, yeah, Christine will come back and answer them, I'm sure. So yeah, so thank you so much. You are a pleasure to coach, Christine. You absolutely are. You and I share a lot of similar driver behaviours. Yeah, so we get each other, don't we?
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's an absolute joy to see how your business has grown and progressed, and to hear your yeah, so yeah, getting that balance, isn't it? So just to finish us off with, so what's life and business like for you now? What's the best bit? What do you enjoy most about having your own business?
Having the freedom to be able to actually say, well, actually, I'm going to change my hours to fit in with my other half's new job and things like that. I wouldn't be able to do that if I was working. So things like that are really helpful. Being able to take my mum up for a hospital consultation last week and things, you know, and that sort of flexibility. But yeah, just being in control and dealing with clients who do actually realise the value of what I do is a massive part of it. So yeah,
it's joyful.
yeah,
Absolutely joyful. And as I say, and you helped me massively with my book, and I love your matter of fact you know, approach. Ask me the questions, got the information. Yeah, no fluff, exactly. This is the thing, isn't it? So we've all bring our uniqueness to our businesses, and yeah, so yours is, yeah, get it done. Yeah, these are the questions, we can get it done. And yeah, and that absolutely works, doesn't it? So thank you again, Christine. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you as always. And we'll drop in the comments how people can contact you, and if they've got any questions, you'll come back and answer them. So so thank you very much. All right, take care. All right, I'll see everybody later. Thank you guys for joining us. See you soon.